name is Diân Gasper. I am a musician, professional musician, composer and educator. And yeah, I do music. Anyway, this is called Quiet Place. I'm going to just open up the floor for any questions, maybe. If I pick the topic, and then you can ask me questions about that topic. That's not me at all foisting my ideas on you, but any questions regarding maybe sort of how I started, or if you got any questions like that related to that, then yeah, I'm happy to answer. Yes? How did I get started? So I grew up in the church, and it started when I was roughly around the age of 2. And what would happen is I would hear a lot of what the drummer was doing at church. Drums was my first instrument. And when I would come home, my mum would be cooking Sunday dinner. And they would notice that I would have quite a bit of rhythm. I would be tapping in. And then my mum would set up a Dutch pot. If you're not familiar with that, if you're Caribbean, everyone should be familiar with a Dutch pot. But she'll turn the Dutch pot upside down and let me have the wooden spoons. And I'll be, and creating a rhythm. And then like yourself, got a little toy drum kit, and then got a more of a serious kit when I was 5. And then, and then that just basically my interest and love for music just took off. It was a battle of two worlds. It was always music and football for me. And football runs in my family. I had a professional, a distant relative of mine who was a professional footballer, he's retired now. But yeah, it was always going to be music for me. So yeah, that's how it got started. My first keyboard, so that's an interesting question, because that I then have to kind of answer another question which you didn't ask. When did I get into playing keyboard? That happened when I was about 12. So the rhythmic foundations that I garnered from being a drummer translated to the keyboard when I started to really get into the music of Stevie Wonder. So the kind of music that I grew up listening to was some jazz, some jazz stuff, but it was more around, groups like Take 6. But the real sounds that I grew up listening to was a lot of gospel and a lot of Stevie Wonder's music, a lot of Motown music, Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, Temptations, that kind of thing. And it was when I started checking out more of Stevie Wonder's records that I got really interested in playing the piano. So my first keyboard probably didn't come till I was about 14, and it was a very, very cheap Casio, but it was my first one. It was mine, and it came out of my dad's hard-earned money, so I'm very grateful for that. here we have an image of the legendary group Take Six. Dealing with have you guys heard of Brian McKnight? Yeah? So the guy in the middle who sings the tenor, the sky tenor, that's Brian McKnight's brother. So his name's Claude McKnight. To the right of him is one of the most amazing vocal arrangers on the planet. His name is Mark Kibble. So right center, and to his right, and Mark Kibble, by the way, sings second tenor. And to his right is his younger brother, Joey, who replaced Mervyn Warren in the 90s. And Mervyn Warren, by the way, has anybody seen the film Sister Act 2? So Mervyn Warren went on to be a film composer and soundtrack designer, and Joyful Joyful. But yeah, that was Mervyn Warren's arrangement. And Oh Happy Day. That's actually a funny story about that. By accident, the bit where Whoopi Goldberg's singing, la 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 la, that's actually not her voice. Apparently, it's Mervyn's voice, which they used it as a placeholder to be replaced by Whoopi Goldberg, but they forgot to take it out. So if you want to hear what he sounds like, they've gone. To the left center is David. Goodness me, what's his last name again? David Thomas? Probably, Jada says. Yeah. I think, anyway, he sings the fourth, I think he's first baritone, actually. Famously, and unfortunately, I should say, he actually has a Dr. Phil appearance because his son basically went off the loose end a little bit. But yeah, I'll prefer to remember him this way. On the left of him is Christian. He sings what I think is the most difficult melodic part of the group. It's those really obscure lines. For example, here's one passage from a song of theirs, an arrangement that they did called Bless This House. I'll just play a little bit of it. But that was formerly Cedric Dent's part, he's now, I believe, a musicologist, and I think he teaches at a university somewhere, but he was replaced by Christian there, who's actually the youngest member of the group now. And right to the left, Alvin Kia is the bass. Can we play that song? Quiet Place. Here we go. Quiet place, far from the rapid pace, where God can soothe my troubled mind, sheltered by tree and flower there, in my quiet hour with Him, my cares are left behind. Whether a garden's small Can we rewind it about 10 seconds? That's another thing I really enjoy about this group. They sing very close together harmonies. Listen. Crazy. From this quiet place. Now we're in a new key. I go prepared to face a new day with love for all mankind. Now, D minor. Take 6. That is a take 6. That's somebody else. But yeah, that's a cappella harmony. That's jazz. That's classical. That's choral. That's motet. That's everything encompassing. And I just cannot overemphasize how difficult that is to do. Yeah, when the parts are that close together. But they do that stuff easily for fun. I could do a whole lecture series about just Take 6 and their arrangements and their music, because there's so much to learn from it. But that's essentially how I started to develop my sound in terms of harmony. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about listening to that was, you will notice at the end, I can't really execute it on the piano, but the tenor, first tenor, held that note. Did you guys hear that? He held the note while the chord changed underneath him. To all 12 keys. I'll give an example. In the key of C, if I take C, C is the first note of C major. If I take C, C is... Did I hear a voice from above? Oh, I see, okay. C is also the fifth note of F major. Oh, sorry. I thought I was hearing voices in my head. I take it this is for the... for the recording. I do apologize. So yeah, something called common tone. I'm gonna do this, make myself feel like Stevie Wonder. Oh no, it should be fine. I mean, you can clap for me if you want, but you know. I've got all the dad jokes, guys. I have 2 beautiful children. One's 3, one's 20 months now, and they've got a lifetime of those kinds of jokes. So, yeah, I mentioned something called common tone, where if you've got a note like C, for example, C is the first note of C major. C is also the 5th note of F major. C is also the 4th note of G major. It's also the 3rd note of A flat major, and so on and so forth. You know, there's key relationships. Now, the more you understand things like that, the more you can take liberty with what we call reharmonization. Harmony is basically synonymous with chords. And what I mean by that is it's 2 or more voices sounded at the same time. And there's different ways to approach harmony. You can approach it by thinking of it as blocked chords, or by looking at it with multiple different voices sounding at different times. So basically you've got 5 voices. Like if I take these 5 here, they can all sing 1 note each as a block chord, or they could sing 5 different individual melodies, and as they intersect with each other, it forms something called counterpoint. But being able to understand that, for example, when you hear that, you're probably thinking, okay, the harmony that goes with it would be. Yeah, very easy. Chord 1, chord 4, 1, 4, 1, 5. But understanding how common tone works gives you the liberty. I'm really going to exaggerate this. It gives you the liberty to reharmonize. So instead of doing it the conventional way, I could do something like. Okay, you were expecting this, weren't you? Da, 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 da. Yeah? But what we do is called a deceptive cadence. Yeah? There's so much more I can do with that. I can go da, I can go da, 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 da. So on and so forth, okay? Brilliant. Do you know who wrote that, by the way? Yeah, good, well done. And did you know, there's a Stevie tune. Did you know Michael Jackson's singing backing vocals on that? Did you know that the Stevie Wonder and the Jackson family are actually related? Yeah, they're third cousins. So anyway, I found that out late last year, and it made so much sense. Cool.
Did you ever go under any musical education?
The answer to that question is formal education. Yes, I did. And I have some regrets. And that might sound a little bit weird hearing that, because what I mean by that is going to an institution. So I didn't go to a musical institution like the famous ones my friends went to, like Trinity or Royal Academy or Guildhall or anything like that. I actually just went to a standard university called Brunel in Uxbridge. Brunel is actually a very, very good university. When I was going there, it was really good. It was the second in the country, I think, for sports. So it's really good for sports. It wasn't great for music. I was the only quote-unquote jazz musician in my class, in my whole year, I think. And, you know, I think one of the benefits that, you know, I took away from going to Brunel was I made a few really good friends who are quite active in the music industry now, today. I think one of my friends who didn't even study music, he studied finance and accounts. As soon as he finished, he went straight into music and played for artists like Jessie Ware and so on and so forth. A couple of the pop guys. I'm not really that clued up when it comes to it. I find my students clue me more up on the pop stuff. I tend to like stuff that was older, basically. But I met my lovely wife there at university, so I guess that's another positive. But it wasn't until I started going to Warriors, which is a jazz charity that I now teach with, where the founder, Gary Crosby, put this idea in my head, but by then it was far too late. A lot of what I learned, more of what I learn now is based on my own research and what I've studied myself and through listening to the music. That's the best educator. I could stand before you and teach you this about harmony, about all of this rhythm, melodies, counterpoint, art of fugue, rhythm changes, ballads, blues, all that stuff. But the education, the best teacher is the music. It's just by listening to the music. I always use this analogy. If I was to take one of you guys back in time to when you were, say, 2, and start teaching you the English language, how I would do it is by just surrounding you with people that speak English. People think they speak English because they were born in England, or, you know, or because they live in England. Both of those two claims are a fallacy, because one, just because you're born somewhere, naturally, what if everybody left the country and it was just you? The land you're sitting on doesn't make you an English speaker. The other fallacy is that, oh, well, because you live in an English-speaking country. Well, just up the road from me, I believe there's a Romanian family that don't speak a word of English. And that's and they've been living here for 7 years, so I hear, or probably more now. And that's because probably what they do when they go home is they listen to Romanian TV, watch Romanian TV, read Romanian books, listen to Romanian music, and speak Romanian to each other. You don't learn that way. You learn by immersing yourself in the language. So if I was to drop any of you now into Germany and you had to stay there and you could not speak English, I took all of your iPad, everything like that had English in it. At the end of that 2-year period or so, you'll be speaking fluent German just by what you hear. And music works the same way. It works the same part of the brain. If I could go back in time, apart from the meeting my wife bit, I think what I would do is I would hire a teacher who's in the industry, who works in the industry and has experience, probably hang out with them for, maybe take 2 lessons a month with them. And then what I would do is I'll go hang out at the universities and meet the musicians there and network with them, so that my face is about go to all the jam sessions and then alleviate myself of all that debt, student loan debt, which does get forgiven after a while. But that's another alternative. I think personally it's the better alternative, but you've just got to find what's best for you. There definitely is advantage to go to university and get informal education that way, but I think the best institution you can go to is the music itself. Yeah.
With that previous subject of reharmonizing notes and stuff, I was wondering if you could give us some tips on how to add that to a practice routine.
Say that again, sorry?
To a practice routine, maybe how we could add that. Okay,
so first of all, you can start slow. There's no point in jumping straight into it. I think when it comes to reharmonization, that Twinkle Twinkle example that I gave you is me exaggerating, but it wasn't terribly musical. It's not something I would enjoy listening to all the time. What it is with harmony is the element of surprise. That's where that's where the meat is. It's in the element of surprise. So if I think of a song like Days of Wine and Roses, I can't remember. I had an arrangement of it. I can't remember how it went, but. So that's right. At that point, it's pretty. That's what you're expecting to hear if you know the song. Yeah. What you were expecting to hear was. Go back to the home chord, but there's something called tritone substitution, and which is basically you take. If you think of the root note, you take F, for example, a tritone above F is B. And if I, instead of going to F, I substitute that for B, a B chord of some sort, in this case, half diminished. Instead, it produces the same effect to the ear, essentially. A little thing about the whole, I don't know if you guys have heard the thing about tritone being the devil's interval. Yeah? It's a complete myth. It's not true. They said it was, it was outlawed by the church. It wasn't. They used it in church liturgy and music back in the medieval era. I don't know where that myth came from, but it's not true. But myths can spread like wildfire. But yeah, so starting slowly. So I only changed one chord. So if I think of, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, if I remember how it goes. Now I'm thinking, the melody goes here. The melody dictates what I'm going to do with the harmony. So that's the chord. But I might, instead of just playing maybe I could do something interesting here. So. A subtle change, and then maybe what can I do here? Oh, that's nice, a little drop 2 thing. Okay, all right, let's see how that sounds in context. Do there. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing. Or what Keith Jarrett does. There you go. Just that whole progression. Instead of, you know, so I mean, there's different, but you start small. You don't oversaturate it, and I think that's the key. And the element of surprise, just before maybe you're about to end that chord, where's he going with this? Okay, oh, you surprised me. What? You know, think of what hymn could we think of? Maybe Amazing Grace or something like that. I'm really putting myself on. I should have prepared before I came, but. So what can I do there? Okay, and this is a thinking sport. This is not just impulsively play. These amazing gospel musicians that you hear that are just seemingly coming out. Yes, they are improvising, but there's preparation first. They didn't just one day be able to just play like that. I know we throw around terms like, oh, this person's got a God-given talent. Yes, they do, but they still had to practice. You still had to figure out, what does that mean? How does this work together? So I'm thinking, okay. Whoa, there's that take 6 chord. Okay, that'll work. I like this. Oh, here's a good place to do it. What Brian McKnight loves to do. Yeah, put other songs on top of other songs. Yeah, that's one way to do it. But yeah, start slowly. Just figure out things. You know, prepare. What can I do here? How do I not oversaturate the harmony where it's just reharm everywhere? But how can I make it musical? And where am I going to put that element of surprise? And I think, yeah, that's the best place to start. Yeah. Okay, lovely. All right. So I'm going to attempt to. Which one? I'm going to do another Take 6 song, I think. This is called He Never Sleeps.